Hey guys, so this lesson is on drawing inferences from data, which means what can you conclude about a set of data? So let's look at this one on page 319. The students in Miss Miller's class cast their votes in the school-wide vote for which color to paint the cafeteria walls. Based on this data that you're looking at, what might you conclude about how the rest of the school vote? So y'all look at that and talk to each other about it for a second. She can pause the video. All right, so now that y'all have talked about it, let's look at one student's work. This inference from Armando says that there's 12 blue votes and 7 red votes. The remaining votes are 4 green, 3 yellow, and 4 orange. If the rest of the school votes like Miss Miller's class, then blue will get the most votes in the school and red will come in second. However, maybe this isn't a representative sample because it's not random. So remember, a population is the whole school, a sample is part of the school, and a representative sample would be random, so it represents the population fairly. So that's the inferences that Armando makes, which is one student's example. And then Anna says, even though this isn't a random sample, it could be a representative sample because most people pick blue. So it's likely the whole school will vote to paint the cafeteria blue. So those are two students' inferences that they've made about this set of data. All right, now let's look at example 1 on page 320. So turn your page. Example 1. Sasha is trying to convince her mother to change her bedtime on school nights. She gathers data on the average hours of sleep that a random sample of 7th grade students in her class gets each night. Will Sasha be able to convince her mother to go to bed later? All right. Her bedtime's at 9, her wake-up time's at 6:30, so her hours of sleep are 9.5. Step 1, Sasha displays the data she collected in a dot plot, which you know what that is, and describes the data. So remember, it says in the problem, she gathers data from a sample of 7th grade students in her school. All right, so how many students, first of all, did she sample? That's how many dots there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 dots. So if there's 25 dots, that means she sampled 25 students. All right, so she displays the data she collected in a dot plot and describes it. About half of the dots are clustered between 9 and 9.5, which seems to be a common time then with the 7th graders that she surveyed. 9.5 has the most dots. The range, you know what the range is. You take the biggest number minus the smallest number. So the range is 10 1/4 hour minus 8 hours. So the range is 2 1/4 hours. Step 2, she concludes, which is her inference, that about half of the students in her sample get between 9 and 9.5 hours of sleep each night, the same number she gets. And the way she found that out is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 out of 25 students get about that much sleep, which is about half of the students she sampled get between 9 and 9.5 hours of sleep, the same number she gets. You can draw a curve to see the distribution of the data. So you can take this data here and draw a curve. Look out how the data is distributed. You have one person at 8, none at 8 1/4, 2 at 8 1/2. So you draw the curve and then you start to go down at 10 1/4. I mean, who really gets that much sleep? So an inference is a conclusion made by interpreting data. Sasha infers that about half of the 7th graders in her school get between 9 and 9.5 hours of sleep. Sasha will probably not be able to convince her mother to let her go to bed later. Why? Because most people go to bed at her time, apparently. All right, now go to try it. I'm not going to show you the answers. Data collects, oopsies, my paper's falling. Do the try it, press pause.